It's 1 o'clock Eastern Time on Monday, May 18th. I'm Joe, the Florida Panthers administrator. I was going to do the draft lottery yesterday, but I was busy flying from Arizona and graduating from Arizona State. I didn't really have time to do it between unpacking and everything yesterday, so I don't think it's too big of a deal doing it today. I hope not, at least to some of you. So last week I posted a post about the lottery. I went through the percentages that each team has based off the real NHL on their standings. My team is the only one with two in the top 14. Actually, I have two in the top five, but it still only gives me a 28.5%, which you would think would be a lot higher when you have two in the top five, but it's not too high. It would be kind of cool to win it with Carolina's pick, being that I could get McDavid and Eichel, but that's probably not going to happen, and realistically, I wouldn't want that to happen just so that the parity in the league is at least balanced somewhat. Um, so we found a website, draftlotto.com. Another league I'm in used this website, and it worked really well. For those of you that are interested in using this in another league, it goes all the way up to 64 teams. So if you wanted to just like randomize the first two rounds completely, you could do that, but I'm just going to do how the actual NHL does it for obvious purposes. The only drawback is you have to hit follow default order for all of these. There's not like one button that will do it for you. So the only one that's going to be random drawn is obviously the first pick. Next year, we're going to follow what the NHL does. Next year, I don't know if you all know, but next year they're doing the first three picks are going to be randomly drawn. I think they're using the same percentages. I'm not too sure. We'll have to check closer to next year, but we'll have to do that. And the only other drawback is with the balls, you can't do 0.5%. Like you can't do 13.5 balls like the Winnipeg Jets have. So we're going to have to multiply everything by 10. So instead of having 13.5 balls, they'll have 135 balls. So if I input everything correctly, it should come out to 1,000 balls, which divided by 10 is 100%. So see how that goes. I'm going to put the lottery percentages for each team in here first, and then I'll put the team names in order. So I felt like we had a pretty good, successful first year between me and Kyle. This is our first sim league that we started to do. The only drawbacks I would say we had were having to replace. I think we replaced 3, 4, or 5 owners. I can't remember off the top of my head. Some of them had valid reasons. Life obviously comes first, but others just simply never came back onto the website, which you wasted all that time drafting. You had to be on once a day to make your pick, basically. So I don't understand why you'd make a commitment like that and then just drop it. Especially when all we ask is you sign in like once every 5-7 days at least, or at least notify us if you're not going to be on for an extended time. But I'm glad that they kind of left because we replaced them with some pretty cool people that seem pretty committed. We also started that Bar Down Simulation Hockey League, which is it's basically the same thing. It's just there's no contracts or anything, and it's a keeper league. So what the hell is that? That was weird. Okay, so all the balls were submitted correctly. Once again, the percentages are the same. It's just everything's increased by 10 to make it work better. So without further ado, I'll just put all the team names in. Panthers, Winnipeg Jets, Vancouver Canucks, Montreal Canadiens. Although I own the Carolina Hurricanes pick, I'm just going to put my team name in parentheses so that it looks more authentic, I guess. Okay. This is where it actually gets kind of interesting. We got Carolina all the way up into New Jersey. They're all in the same division, so that'll be pretty interesting to see how that works out. Create some more division rivalries within each other. Doubles are hitting the short end of the stick. They have to pick the last out of their whole division. See a lot of East teams, I would say. Actually, it's pretty balanced. I think we have, how many West teams? We have 1, 2, Oh wow, I actually put this out of order. I'm gonna have to. My bad, guys. I had a brain fart there. I also felt like this was the best way to do the draft, being that you guys can see it's not rigged. I know another league that I'm in, there's like a conspiracy with how it went down or not, but I feel like this is the best way. I was gonna try and set it up live through YouTube, but I don't think I'm using a screen recorder through QuickTime, which just lets me record my screen on my Mac, so it's pretty easy, and hopefully it comes out good. I used it in my other league, the Bar Down League, to do our inaugural draft, so should be pretty good. So, we're gonna name this the OGSHL 2015 lottery. Let me just double check all the team names are in order since I screwed up the first time. So we got Florida, Winnipeg, Montreal. I think everything's good to go now. All I'm going to have to do is just hit the go button and it'll generate us a draft order. One more thing I want to talk about is we're going to be doing the actual draft a week after the real NHL draft so that people can get more familiarized with all the people that got drafted and look them up and get a little more in-depth analysis from the analysts that will talk about the players and everything. And the last thing I want to talk about is the free agent draft. I'm not sure if you guys want to do it before the entry draft or after the entry draft. I'm going to say after, but I'm going to put a poll up, see what you guys want to do. I feel like people would want to draft their players first and then pick their free agents based off of who they drafted. But we'll see what you guys want to do. That would be my preference, but want to make sure everybody gets their voice in, so we'll see. Well, the free agent draft will probably be either a week before or a week after, depending which way you guys want to do it. For that, we're probably gonna just do the 1 hour clocks that we did last time, or half-hour clock. We'll probably do 1 hour clock. That way, it's spread out a little bit more throughout the off season and gives us some things to do. Off season is my favorite time of the year, so that's what I look forward to, especially being a young, I wouldn't say rebuilding team because I'm not really rebuilding anything, but being a young team, it's pretty interesting, especially in the free agent drafts. Depending on my ratings, I might actually try and make a push for the playoffs, but we'll see. So without further ado, our lottery winner is the... Is it going to load? Or are we just going to sit here? Oh, here it goes. The winner is the Winnipeg Jets. So, Winnipeg moves up one spot, so they get their choice of whoever they want. Basically, everybody stays in the exact same spot they were at, except for me. So, unfortunately, I have the second overall pick now. But I think having two in the top 5, I can look to do some damage. You know, there's a lot of good teams. We got Montreal and Vancouver and Pittsburgh. Those teams look like they're going to be very tough to play against in the next few years. I feel like the bottom 5 teams all had the same mentality of taking this year and next year off, basically, and building basically a team that could be a force for quite a long time, especially with the younger contracts. It's pretty easy to, at least in my opinion, to manage those because they're just getting their feet wet with those contracts. So depending on the ratings, it should be pretty interesting. I feel like all these teams in the top 6 can actually be in the playoffs and be one of the top teams in the league. But every team here is built pretty well. There's not really like one team built better than I would say another, but you can definitely see which GMs care more about their teams, they're the most active and everything. But everybody seems to have a good squad, and everybody seems to be having fun here. We don't really get too many complaints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this to YouTube now. It's 1:10, so it should be done uploading, I think, to YouTube by 1:30 at the latest. And I'll make a post and I'll post it on the website again. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, or just want to talk about the draft, feel free to do so on that post. The playoffs are almost over. Let's take a look at the playoff tree. So Dallas ended up winning yesterday, and the Senators and Flyers are tied. I'm actually surprised to see some of these teams with, and I'm pretty sure Calgary's goalie is Anton Khudobin, and somehow he is in the conference finals, which was pretty interesting. I was really surprised to see them beat Arizona, and I'm pretty sure Ottawa is using Craig Anderson in net, so that's pretty interesting how those two goalies are in the conference finals. Definitely was not expecting either of those teams to be there, but I was definitely expecting the Flyers to get to the Cup, and I wasn't sure between Dallas, Minnesota, or Arizona, but I'm going to say it's going to be the Flyers and Dallas in the finals, and I think the Flyers might actually be able to pull it out. Fletnin can play well, although the Dallas Stars have a little bit better forward group, so we'll see how that goes. But it all could basically come down to Bobrovsky and Letnin, which is kind of weird to think about. So yeah, anyway, definitely looking forward to next year. One more thing I want to talk about is we are upping the roster limit to 45. So if you have, you can have up to 15 prospects now, or you can have an additional 5 players on your HL team. So another thing is with cap geek and everything being down, a player like Sam Reinhart's not going to be able to be. He will still be a prospect because he didn't play those 9 games, and a player like Sam Bennett will still be a prospect because he didn't play those 9 games. His entry-level contract never slid, which was one really cool thing about CapGeek, was that it was able to keep that on track for you. So we're going to manually have to check if a player started their ELC now or not, and we'll make a post about each team's players if they are no longer a prospect or not. A player like Aaron Ekblad's can no longer be a prospect, so we'll see how that goes, and look forward to next year. Hopefully all 30 teams stay this time, and have a nice little community. So look forward to draft day. Look forward to seeing you all there, and if you guys have any questions, once again, just feel free to send me a message or respond to the post. Good luck, everyone.